The grand ballroom glittered under the soft glow of crystal chandeliers, their light scattering like stars across the polished marble floor. Manhattan's elite swirled through the space, their laughter and clinking champagne glasses blending with the delicate strains of a string quartet. The annual Children's Hospital Foundation Gala was in full swing, a night of elegance, philanthropy, and high-stakes networking. Alexander Morrison stood near the edge of the room, adjusting his black bow tie with a subtle tug. At 36, he was the picture of success, the founder of one of the East Coast's most innovative tech companies. His sharp jawline and tailored tuxedo fit the part of a man who commanded boardrooms, but tonight, his hazel eyes betrayed a flicker of unease. He glanced at his watch, then down at the small figure beside him, his 4-year-old daughter, Isabella, her pink tulle dress sparkling under the lights, her tiny legs swinging from an oversized chair. Since his wife, Maria, passed away from cancer 18 months ago, Alexander had been navigating the tightrope of single parenthood while steering his company through relentless growth. Tonight's gala was a critical opportunity to charm investors and secure partnerships, but it came with a complication. His regular nanny had fallen ill, and with no family nearby, he'd had no choice but to bring Isabella along. Desperate to maintain his professional image while ensuring his daughter was cared for, he turned to a reputable companion service, MidnightTales, known for its discretion and quality. He'd requested someone who could pose as his date for the evening while also keeping Isabella entertained, a professional arrangement, nothing more. He'd been clear, the candidate needed experience with children, and this was strictly a one-night solution. As the crowd parted, Sophia Elena stepped into the ballroom, and Alexander felt his breath catch. At 28, she carried herself with an effortless grace that blended seamlessly with the room's opulence. Her navy blue gown hugged her frame, its understated elegance drawing eyes without demanding attention. Her warm, genuine smile softened the formality of the evening, and when she approached, Alexander felt an unexpected calm. Isabella, usually reserved around strangers, looked up from her chair, her wide eyes catching the shimmer of Sophia's dress. Sophia knelt to Isabella's level, her movements natural and unhurried. "What a beautiful dress," she said, her voice soft but vibrant. "Those sparkles are magical. Did you pick it out yourself?" Isabella nodded shyly, her fingers twisting the hem of her skirt. Then, to Alexander's surprise, she reached out and took Sophia's hand without hesitation. "Daddy says this is a very important party, and I have to use my best manners," she said, her voice small but earnest. Sophia's laugh was gentle, like a breeze. "Well, I think your manners are already perfect. And I love parties. Maybe we can have some fun together tonight, what do you say?" Isabella's face lit up, and Alexander felt a knot in his chest loosen. He hadn't expected this, someone who could connect with his daughter so instantly, so genuinely. As the evening unfolded, Sophia proved to be more than a hired companion. During the cocktail hour, she glided through conversations with Alexander's business associates, her wit and poise matching their polished banter. Yet, she never lost sight of Isabella, ensuring the little girl had a plate of child-friendly snacks and engaging her in quiet games when the adult talk grew too dull. She pointed out the patterns in the ballroom's ornate ceiling, turning them into a game of Find the Hidden Stars, and Isabella giggled, her shyness melting away. When the formal dinner began, Sophia sat beside Isabella, cutting her food into small bites with a care that felt maternal rather than obligatory. She leaned in, whispering stories about imaginary princesses who lived in castles like this ballroom, keeping Isabella captivated through the lengthy speeches. Alexander watched, his focus drifting from the gala's high-stakes agenda to the woman beside his daughter. Sophia wasn't just fulfilling a role, she was creating a space where Isabella could thrive, even in this overwhelming setting. The auction portion of the evening tested Sophia's skill further. Isabella, growing tired, began to fidget, her small hands tugging at her dress. Alexander braced for a meltdown, but Sophia didn't miss a beat. "Would you like to see the pretty flowers in the hallway?" she whispered to Isabella, her tone conspiratorial. "We can count them together." Isabella's eyes brightened, and she nodded eagerly. Sophia glanced at Alexander, seeking permission with a subtle raise of her brow. He nodded, grateful, and watched through the ballroom's glass doors as Sophia led Isabella into the hotel's elegant lobby. The two wandered hand in hand, Sophia pointing out the intricate carvings on the marble columns and the vibrant orchids in crystal vases. "These are called Ionic columns," she told Isabella, her voice animated. "They're like the ones in fairy tale palaces." She encouraged Isabella to smell the flowers, teaching her to count the petals in a soft, rhythmic chant. Alexander, stealing glances from his seat, felt a pang of something unfamiliar, hope, perhaps, or the stirrings of connection. For the first time since Maria's death, he saw his daughter completely at ease with someone new, her laughter echoing faintly through the glass. When they returned 20 minutes later, Isabella was refreshed, her earlier restlessness gone. "Miss Sophia taught me about columns," she announced, her voice bubbling with excitement. "And she knows why flowers smell so pretty." Sophia smiled, brushing a stray curl from Isabella's face, her gown still pristine despite their impromptu adventure. Alexander felt his throat tighten. Isabella's joy was a rare gift, one he hadn't seen so fully since before Maria's illness. As the gala drew to a close, Isabella's energy waned, and she curled up against Sophia's side, her head resting on Sophia's arm. Sophia adjusted her position, gently stroking Isabella's hair as the little girl dozed. "She's exhausted," Alexander said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. "I should get her home." "She's been such a good girl tonight," Sophia replied, her gaze soft as she looked down at Isabella. "You should be so proud. She's sweet, smart, and so well behaved." Her words carried a sincerity that struck Alexander deeply. "She really likes you," he said, hesitating. "That's rare, since her mother passed." Sophia's eyes met his, filled with quiet understanding. "I can see how much you love her. She's lucky to have a dad who cares so much." Her words were simple, but they landed like a balm on a wound Alexander hadn't realized was still raw. As they prepared to leave, Isabella stirred, her sleepy eyes finding Sophia. "Miss Sophia," she said, her voice small but clear, "can you stay forever?" The question hung in the air, heavy with a child's innocence and a weight neither adult could ignore. Alexander's heart clenched as he saw the hope in his daughter's eyes and the gentle sadness in Sophia's. "Oh, sweetheart," Sophia said, her voice tender, "tonight was so special because of you. You made this party magical for me." She looked at Alexander, and something unspoken passed between them, a recognition that this night, meant to be a transaction, had become something far more profound. In the car ride home, Isabella chatted about Sophia, recounting their flower-counting game and the stories about princesses. Alexander listened, his mind turning over the evening. MidnightTales had promised a professional solution, but Sophia had delivered something else entirely, a glimpse of what his family could be. That night, as he tucked Isabella into bed, she looked up at him, her eyes serious. "Daddy, is Miss Sophia going to be my friend?" He paused, the question stirring a mix of hope and uncertainty. "Would you like her to be?" he asked carefully. Isabella nodded, her face lighting up. "She's nice like Mommy was. And she makes you smile." Her words hit him like a quiet revelation. He hadn't realized how rare his own smiles had become. Over the next few days, Alexander couldn't shake the memory of Sophia's warmth, her effortless connection with Isabella, her presence that felt like more than a hired role. After wrestling with his instincts, he made a decision that surprised even himself. He contacted Sophia directly, bypassing MidnightTales. They met for coffee, the air between them charged with possibility. "I know our arrangement was just for one night," he began, his usual confidence softened by vulnerability. "But Isabella hasn't stopped talking about you. And I haven't stopped thinking about how right it felt. The three of us." He took a breath, his words careful but earnest. "I'm not asking for another professional arrangement. I'm asking if you'd be willing to get to know us, as yourself. Isabella needs stability, someone who cares about her. And I'm starting to think I might need that too." Sophia listened, her expression thoughtful, her fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup. After a long moment, she smiled, the same warm smile that had captivated them both at the gala. "I'd like that," she said. "But I need you to know that what I felt that night was real. Isabella's incredible, and you're an amazing father. If we do this, it's because I care about you both, not because of any arrangement." 6 months later, Sophia had become a cornerstone of their lives. What began as a service booked through MidnightTales had blossomed into a genuine bond, built on shared moments and quiet trust. Isabella's bedtime stories now included Sophia's tales of imaginary kingdoms, and Alexander found himself smiling more, his heart lighter than it had been in years. The gala, meant to secure business deals, had instead secured something far more valuable, a family rediscovering love. Isabella's innocent question, "Can you stay forever?" had cut through Alexander's carefully constructed walls, revealing a truth he hadn't dared to face. Love often arrives in disguise, slipping into the spaces you least expect. For Alexander, Sophia, and Isabella, it came dressed in a navy gown, carrying a smile that promised forever wasn't just a child's wish, but a possibility worth chasing.